Hey, what's up, guys? So we're just gonna kick off here and go right into this Q&A. I've got all your guys' questions lined up. I figured this would be a better way to record this, and that way I can share it on multiple platforms. So we're just gonna kick off the first question and get right into it. So first one says, what is that one effect that you do every time you perform? This is not always going to be an easy question, but a lot of people who know me, they always know I've got a ring on my finger, and I am usually performing on-off or Garrett Thomas's ring thing with some additional modified handlings of that, of course. You guys can catch a video of that on my Instagram. Just scroll through a little bit, you'll find it. But yeah, so moving on to the next question. How do you come up with ideas for new tricks? Like, how is your way of thinking, he asks. Well, firstly, I think that we all stand on the shoulders of giants, meaning there's people who have always come before us who have done a lot of magic. A lot of times when you think you've come up with something new, it's already been done. And that's kind of the job of a creator, is to really try to take things further. You know, obviously look at it like art. It's coming from your heart and soul, your passions, using the objects that you use in your everyday magic repertoire, of course. But for me, how do I come up with those tricks? Now, kind of having a little bit of background, is I generally like to visualize things. Just, visualize a trick. I've been doing this long enough where I can kind of think of something, just the visual, how it would look, and then try to apply the methods that I already have. Sometimes I discover a new method, just like it's a new little spring I found or whatever it is. I say, you know what, that's going to work perfectly for that past idea I had, or vice versa. It's a big mess, but I would say number one thing is imagination. I know it sounds corny, but seriously, if you have a good imagination, that's a great start when creating magic. So next question, best creation of mine. So that's a really tough question. Obviously I'm always releasing things, and at the moment, I would say plasma, because that's my new thing and I'm fully supporting that project and I'm so excited to get it out there. So that's cool. So I'm going to say plasma, but I can name a couple others. Maybe like Revolve, the color changing card, which started as Evolve. Kind of the first of its kind in the magic industry. There was a very easy way to kind of remove the gimmick, and it was an actual real playing card that's ungimmicked. So that was a big one. I really love that. Revamp. That one came out a couple months ago. Torn Restored Bill, very similar to Evolve, because utilizing that system that I came up with to remove gimmicks very easily, something like a Torn and Restored, maybe with a seemingly borrowed bill, that can be really strong. So there's a few for you guys. Moving on to favorite magician, and I've got a couple here. So it says favorite magician among Richard Sanders, Sean Farquhar, Ozzy Wind, and Greg Wilson. So he made this tough because those are obviously some heavy hitters in the magic industry. I would just like to say a lot of nice things about everybody, because it's extremely hard to choose, but judging off of maybe somebody who's more similar to my style, between gimmicks and sleight of hand and just a really nice marriage between the two, I would probably say Greg Wilson. Man, I'm such a fan of, how great he is at sleight of hand. Not that all these guys aren't sleight of hand masters, but how he uses his sleight of hand, and also the gimmick tricks that he's come up with. Just a big combination of everything. But that is definitely very difficult. I would say all those guys are awesome. Moving on, let's see. What's your say on magic piracy? Well, I think every magician knows that you're not supposed to reveal secrets to really anybody. It's been a big, huge thing. Just recently having a discussion with a good friend of mine, he truly believes that no matter how much magic is revealed, it actually doesn't truly hurt anybody. And that's interesting, and I think it really only applies to, maybe I released something last week and it got revealed, and, maybe it's something that doesn't require a special prop that you have to buy additionally to perform the magic, something you can't make, and it's just this secret that's super clever. Maybe something like, you guys seen that needle trick, voodoo needle. It's like, once that gets revealed, the creator who's relying on that money, for each person who purchases it, and well earned, They're maybe going to get less money because it's being revealed. I don't know. Maybe the people who it's being revealed to are people who aren't going to buy magic anyway, which is just a bad thing in itself. I'm going to say I'm definitely not 50-50 on this. I'm more leaning towards I don't believe in it. Me personally, as corny as it sounds, when I started magic, I felt like I took that oath in magic not to reveal it. So um, we're just gonna say that and just move on with it. So there's enough talk about revealing magic. So the next question says, "What's my go-to TV show binge?" Right, so a show I'm gonna binge and watch all the way through. Um, there's not many, to be honest. I do like movies occasionally. My favorite show would have to be Stranger Things. I think that's one of the best shows to have come out in a long time. It's just so good, and I'm waiting for season 4. So that's my answer on that one. Next question says, "What's my favorite food?" Guys, these are some tough questions. Honestly, it's like choosing between so many great things. But I could be cliche and say pizza because pizza's awesome. It's always good. But maybe something like like a chicken parmesan sandwich, man. Something with the sauce and the cheese. You can't go wrong. That's super good. All right, so this question says, "What's your favorite venue or situation when to perform, talking when you are booked for a gig?" So that's actually a great question, and it addresses that I'm actually not a performer. I'm a full-time magic creator. Yes, I love to perform every time I get a chance, but I do strictly create magic and consult for a living. So, but if you wanted to know kind of like my favorite situation, it would probably be a super casual one. It could be maybe at a bar or a restaurant, hanging out with friends, maybe a backyard barbecue, something like that. Perfect for magic, especially when they don't expect it. That's my favorite. Let's see. Will VPM 40 be released again? Unfortunately, not. At least not on the schedule. It was a limited to 100 units. They're all gone. And I thought that was a very special thing because it was signed and numbered. But potentially, maybe down the line, I will try to release it on a larger scale. We'll just gonna have to see. Going on, let's see. Huge fan. What inspires your creativity? Well, we already talked about that a little bit, I guess, or maybe the creative process, which is imagination. And I think that's a great way to create. But what inspires my creativity? Well, I guess it could probably be a lot of things. Honestly, I just love magic so much. It's always been a passion for me since I was maybe, you know, 12 or 13 years old, maybe even younger, and I just love it that much. So, I mean, what inspires it? To try to be the best magic creator that I possibly can be. That's what inspires me. So, yeah. Favorite hobbies outside of magic? Well, I definitely have a few. Generally, I just like to have fun, whatever it is, hanging out with friends, definitely. But a lot of people don't know this about me. I love to whistle and beatbox. I've been whistling and beatboxing since I was a little kid, and I absolutely love it. I love music in a very, very different way than most people. I don't have, playlists, and I don't really go to concerts much. Um, I really love music, and so between whistling and beatboxing, you can see how that kind of makes sense. But yeah, so let's see. Favorite drink? Well, there's probably guys. These questions they're tough, because I think, especially when you get to travel and you get to try different things, you really learn to kind of love a lot of things that are out there. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say bubble tea, man. Any flavor, that stuff is just amazing and so delicious. So bubble tea it is. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Buffalo, New York. So a lot of people don't know much about Buffalo. Buffalo is a great place for magic. Growing up, I didn't realize that. But after the years went on, it turns out there was like this magic castle of the East. It was called the Forks Hotel. That was literally right down the street from me. There's a magic convention called the Buffalo 52, which I've attended a few times. Also, right down the street from me. Didn't even know it existed for a long time. And then also, the 4F convention is only about 40 minutes away from my house. So I was pretty much surrounded by magic. Not to mention my mentor, Garrett Thomas, is from Buffalo. Buffalo is definitely a very magical city. So if you look more into that, let's see. Favorite fast food chain? I'm gonna go with my new favorite, which is Jollibee, because everything on the menu is super good, and if you've never had it, you should try it. It's awesome. Get the spaghetti and the spicy fried chicken. All right. What's your favorite magic product that I've ever released? Again, that's a tough one, and I kind of did resort to what's current. What am I, currently passionate about and promoting and working on? I did mention Plasma, Revolve, Revamp. Um, but honestly, it's like when you're creating something, whatever kind of art it is, you really do fall in love with those things, and they become part of you. So really, all of them. I really love them all. So let's see. Eyesight. How is your eyesight? Well, I wear glasses, and it's pretty bad. Honestly, if I take my glasses off, everything is fuzzy, and I don't know the details about it, but I just know that I am blind as a bat. So let's keep moving on. Have I ever been to India? No, not yet, but definitely plan on it. I would love to lecture all over the world. Besides the places I've been, I definitely want to continue to add to the list, and India is on the list. So let's see. What got me into magic? What age and what was your first creation? So let's see. What got me into magic? I would say between seeing all the magic that was on TV, like pre-Blaine, pre-David Blaine, like Masters of Magic, Masters of Illusion, David Copperfield. I would see all that on TV, and it got me interested, but I didn't start actually practicing and creating magic until I seen David Blaine's first show, which was like 20 something years ago. And once I seen that it could be performed on the street in this close-up kind of environment and very casual, I just like absolutely loved it and started to learn. And as for what was my first creation, honestly, it's really hard for me to think back that far. When you think creation, it doesn't always have to be gimmicks. It could just be even independently creating somebody else's trick, So, I mean, when I seen the ambitious card routine, and this isn't exposing much to you guys, but, the double lift, I didn't know what that was. I didn't have any magic books. All I knew is that, David Blaine was performing this trick over and over, and it just kind of clicked in my mind. And I didn't realize that that's exactly what he was doing. I thought it was an independent thing until I realized, of course, it's a staple in card magic. And yeah, so maybe the double lift, ambitious card, something like that. Always been obsessed with that plot. So let's see. How are you? That's awesome. That's a great question. I'm doing pretty good. It's always a struggle. It's always like a hustle when you're an independent artist and you're kind of just trying to make it with your art. But starting a new company and learning all new things. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay, but it's definitely a struggle, and I'm learning something new every day. And with you guys, I'm a lot better. So I appreciate you guys. Let's see. What's my favorite movie? Favorite movie? I'm just gonna go back a few years. Actually, probably in the '90s. This movie's always stuck with me because it's just so funny. One of my favorite actors is Chris Farley. If you guys aren't familiar with him, look him up. He's got some great clips on YouTube. He passed away a long time ago, so don't expect any new movies, but Tommy Boy was probably one of his best movies ever. It's super funny. I can consider that my all-time favorite movie. Let's see, tips for starting out as a professional magician and getting gigs. So unfortunately, I probably can't give you much advice on that. I have learned a bunch because I was considering it years ago, and never really got into it. But there's a lot of I know there's a few DVDs out there. You can probably find it somewhere on getting gigs and being a professional magician. But you know what? I think the best advice is just practice a lot, and make sure the routines that you're performing are professional. Right? Everything is on point, and you're not fumbling around. All these things are kind of common sense, but I think it's really important to be a master of your trade, especially if you're getting paid for it. A lot of people worry about having maybe like a ton of tricks. If you're working a gig, you're probably working close up, and you're kind of bouncing from table to table or from group to group, and you really only need about 3 to 5 tricks. So no 3 to 5 tricks, doing better than anybody else, or at least the best you can do them. And yeah, that's my tips on that, I guess. Do I play video games or computer games? Not recently or not currently. I don't have a system right now. Growing up, I was a big fan of everything from like the original Nintendo, all the way up until maybe like the PlayStation 2, or no, like Xbox 360, something like that. I really got into like first-person shooter games. Those are tons of fun, like Halo or Call of Duty. It's like riding a bike. I bet you I can pick up the sticks and rock you. So let's go. No, I'm just kidding. I probably suck, but I do enjoy playing those games. Um, let's see. How long did you start doing magic? We kind of already got into that. Probably about a little over 20 years ago, maybe about 25 years ago. Started practicing and trying to get creative. So let's see. Where were you born? So we covered where I grew up, Buffalo, New York, but this is actually kind of interesting. I actually was born on the opposite side of the country. I was born in San Bernardino, California, in which my parents kind of made their way, traveled across the country, and landed in Buffalo, New York, which I spent a majority of my life. So let's see. You guys are learning a lot about me. This is kind of cool, huh? Let's see. What helped or encouraged you to pursue magic? Who is your favorite magician? Let's see. So, I mean, honestly, I wanted to say it's true passion because I fell in love with magic. I fell in love with the idea of creating magic and being a good magician at a very young age, and I never let it go. I mean, now I'm going to be 34 years old, and I can honestly say I've never spent or wasted a day like not thinking about magic. At least for one time, maybe I practiced something or wrote down an idea. Magic is always on my mind. So, and who is my favorite magician? You know, I mentioned this guy a lot because I owe him a lot. He's taught me a lot, and he is probably one of the best, if not the best, close-up magician in the world, most creative, hands down, Garrett Thomas. If you don't know who he is, research Garrett, pick up some of his products, pick his brain, learn his magic. He's awesome. Let's see. How can I collaborate with you? I have lots of ideas. So I don't typically collaborate. I have been kind of getting into it a little bit more, but generally it's with like personal friends who I've known for a long time, or it really has like this like 50-50 relationship. That's how collaborations usually work. You don't want like one person doing more or less. So it's really important to see kind of eye to eye with the person you're collaborating with, and it definitely can be a sticky situation. But yeah, that's awesome, man. You got ideas, keep creating. Collaborations will come. Definitely, I'd say focus on yourself, focus on your magic, focus on the originality, and mastering your effects. So let's see. Besides magic, what makes you happy? That's a great question. Honestly, I don't want to get a little corny here, but what makes me happy, honestly, is doing what I love, but also meeting the love of my life. You know, I plan on getting married to my fiance, Faye. She's an amazing woman, and she definitely makes me very happy. But besides, you know, just love and magic, I think just having fun and just making opportunities to meet up with friends and just living life, you know, just that's about it. You know, I mean, it seems kind of plain and simple, but I mean, I'm a kind of a basic dude. And yeah, that's what makes me happy. So let's keep moving here. What is my favorite cartoon? I'm not too big into cartoons at this point in time. When I was younger, I definitely loved cartoons. Not that it's meant for younger people. I mean, I was watching Family Guy a few months ago, you know, maybe a little bit of South Park. But I just don't really get into it too much. But favorite cartoon? You know, I'm just gonna say like Ren and Stimpy because that was like real raunchy and like weird, and I love those real close-ups they would do on like really gross things. Yeah, that was a fun show, Ren and Stimpy. Let's see. What is your favorite pizza and where is it from? Well, my favorite pizza will always be from where I was raised, Buffalo, New York. If you're ever there, there is so many places to get good pizza there. But let's see. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say Lenova. If you're ever in Buffalo, go to Lenova Pizzeria. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna be drooling when you walk in the door, so check it out. Do I like punk music and skateboarding? I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of punk music, but we kind of covered music a little bit. I like all music. I think music's great. Yeah, I can rock to some punk music. Skateboarding, I think I'm clearly too big to be a skateboarder. I was always a big guy, but I've always admired skateboarding. Honestly, I think it's probably one of the coolest hobbies or even professions skateboarding, you can really relate to magic, not just because of the tricks, because of the passion and the endurance that goes into it to really be the best you can be. Skateboarding is awesome. To sum it up to that, let's see. What's your favorite city besides the one you live in? Which I'm currently living in Las Vegas. I've also lived in Columbus, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, California. My favorite city would probably have to be, um, geez, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one. But it's probably between the big cities here in the U.S. So it's either maybe New York City, Las Vegas, or Los Angeles. There's just tons to do, and it's great scenery. You get to see some cool things you see on TV, and you get to see it in person. So it's all about the experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and say those three. Let's see. Married? Any kids? What hobbies interest you outside of magic? So we've covered a lot of that. I'm not married, but soon to be married, and no kids for now. Maybe just one in the future. Well, I guess if you guys hang out for the ride, you'll find out about him or her. But yeah, so let's see. So the next question we have here is best beard care products and tips for growing your first beard. Honestly, dude, I just use some basic, beard oil. I try to keep it trimmed. Beards are cool. You got that kind of like that wizard thing kind of going on. But yeah, man, I wish you the best of success with your first beard. Let's see. What's the reason behind all the tattoos? Also, how long have you been in a relationship? That's an interesting combo of questions here. So the reason behind the tattoos, I guess I could just say I love tattoos. I think it's really cool to put, art on your body. But the reason why I actually started off with tattooing my hands was, and I don't recommend this to anybody, but this was my personal story. I tattooed my hands because it was a way of me saying there's no going back. And I had a majority of the tattoos on my hands and my wrists probably about 15, 16 years ago. I've added some new ones and I continue to get more ink. But yeah, that's kind of the reason for it. Yeah, I liked them, but it was me diving in and saying, I'm never going to work a normal job. I'm going to be successful at, consulting and creating magic and anything in between, just working in the magic industry. So yeah, and how long have I been in a relationship? I've been with Faye, my fiance, for almost 2 years now. So 2 years going strong. Let's see, a lot of repeating questions, but that's okay. I'm just gonna skim through here. Your projects are so diverse. To what do you attribute the wide span of your creations? Well, I definitely try to be diverse and have a wide span, like in different genres and maybe using different objects and whatnot. My favorite magic is organic magic, objects that are just laying around. But if you look at most of my creations that I've put out, a lot of them have been card magic or gimmick card magic because it's very familiar to me. That's what I had when I was younger, and I really fell in love with card magic. It's also an easier form of magic to create, I think, because I'm so comfortable with it. It's kind of a go-to. The effects can always be different, but the cards are always the same, so it's kind of reliable. But as you guys seen, I've released a bunch of other organic magic as well, and I have a ton more cool tricks coming out with coins and lighters and all sorts of things. So definitely stand by, and you're going to see some fun stuff. So let's see. Who's the coolest Filipino guy you know? I know who this is. Rodney Reyes. I actually just met him the other night, so he's just being a funny guy, and he's a super cool dude, super creative. Definitely one of the coolest. But if as a serious question, honestly, because I do know, a handful of Filipino magicians, and I would definitely say, one of my favorite guys out there is Jeffrey Tan, mainly because he's just so entertaining and like well-rounded, and he really dives into magic. He lives magic. He's not only a magician, but he's an actor, and he's a super cool guy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Jeffrey Tan. Sorry, Rodney. I love you too, man. I hope to connect more, but we're gonna give it to him. So let's see. When did I start magic? So I've answered them a couple times, about 20, 25 years ago. Let's see. Why aren't you following me? Good question. Probably firstly, I don't know who you are. I've never run across your page. I do try to follow a ton of people. I'm always reaching out, trying to like and, comment on people's stuff. I think that's kind of just a common courtesy when being on social media, just trying to, help out and help uplift people. But honestly, I've never seen your profile. And, but I'll tell you what, I'll take a look. If it has something, interesting, maybe some good visual magic, or, even if just your sleight of hand is really good, something's got to stand out. And if that's the case, I will probably follow you. So let's see. Another question about VPM 40. Those might come around again, who knows? If you guys don't know the trick, you can check out the trailer. You might have missed it. It was limited, but let's see. Any more organic magic to be released in the future? We were just talking about that, definitely. I have this one that's, you can just use like any small object and you can do like anything with it. You can make it disappear, appear, transpose, shrink, grow. It's like this crazy utility gimmick. And it's definitely organic because you can use like any small object. That's gonna be really cool. So look out for that and plenty more. What's your favorite place to take a vacation? Well, I actually haven't been on a ton of vacations. The places I've traveled in the world were generally for work. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed a lot of places in the world. My only actual true vacation, believe it or not, was in the Philippines with my fiance Faye, and it was an amazing time. It was almost like a dream when you go to somewhere so tropical and you get to see these amazing things. It was just absolutely amazing. So it was probably Palawan Island in the Philippines. Absolutely gorgeous. If you guys get a chance to go to the Philippines, go. It's amazing. It's super cheap and it's beautiful, and there's just a ton of culture to experience. So let's see. Why don't you post magic videos anymore? So yeah, I used to post a ton of magic videos. I really did, and I really loved it. I loved kind of, getting creative and like setting up the camera and like posting like the best take of, my new creation, and getting to hear some feedback from you guys was amazing. But yeah, not to get like too negative, but the reason why is because unfortunately a lot of people don't really understand like the rules or like the common courtesy of watching another magician perform original material. You're really not supposed to just take that and rework it and post it yourself and then say inspired by, because that's really not the case. You're taking from somebody without permission, and that was happening way too much, even to the point where people were not only just posting their video, but then they would take it to like magic producers, or they would film their own download teaching how to do their own version of my trick, and that really kind of hurt. I didn't like that, and ever since that's happened a few times, I just kind of steered away from it, and now I just promote my products. But now I know that there's got to be more than that. I don't want to just be promoting my products to you guys. That's why I'm doing this video and just trying to think about what else I can do to kind of connect with you guys and share more about myself and just be a little bit more active in the community. So let's see, let's move on. Let's see, we got another favorite movie. We talked about that one. How do you make your magic effect so good? Well, that's really kind of you, firstly. But secondly, I guess it's a lot of experience. I've been doing it for a long time. I truly put my all into it. I don't just think of something and then just like put it out. I really think of something and then nurture it and really transform it into, the best version of itself. So I think it's just, time and passion, and I really care, and just a lot of hard work. So let's see, another food question: Adobo or Cinegang? And if you guys don't know what those are, Adobo, you must be from the Philippines, I'm guessing. And because my wife is there, my fiance is Filipino, I'm kind of connecting with a lot of guys out there. So Adobo and Cinegang are two food dishes out there, which are both super, super good. Cinegang is like a sour, you describe it as sour, but it's like sour, savory soup, and it can be made all different ways. I had a really good salmon Cinegang and it was amazing. Or adobo, which most popular, chicken adobo, super good. It is like amazing, especially just some adobo chicken with some rice. It's amazing. But I'm gonna go with adobo. I'm gonna go with adobo on this. Both delicious. Definitely adobo. Try it out. Let's see. Can I really ask you anything? Well, you missed your chance. You totally could have. Maybe you did. I don't know. I'm gonna put everybody's account as I'm reading through these, but yeah, you could have. You could have asked me anything. Maybe on the next one. So, I'm getting a lot of repeated questions, but that's okay. We're just gonna keep on moving through. Have you done a part-time job when you started magic full-time, as we don't get gigs from first day? So yes, yeah, I mean, obviously I've addressed I'm not a professional magician. I am a creator / consultant. So before, and just quickly, I've been doing that for probably about 7 or 8 years. In between that, I worked at Penguin Magic, which I would consider that still being, in the magic industry, and that was great, and I was supporting myself, so that's awesome. But before all that, I used to do a lot of construction, demolition work. I was working in restaurants. I also was a taxi driver in New York. Definitely just trying to hustle and make money. So anything I could really find. Didn't really have a crazy education or anything like that. So I just kind of take the opportunities I can get. And make the most of money doing them and put in as many hours as I could. And eventually I started to release my own magic, but that definitely takes time. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me and my work life. Let's see. What is my favorite tattoo and what does it symbolize? Well, I've got a lot of them and I really do like them all. Each tattoo is not super personal, but definitely they each have a lot of meaning. My favorite tattoo, it's this little square. I don't know if you can see it on my wrist here. This square is not just a square. It is actually, if you open up a deck of bicycle playing cards, it has that sticker, that seal. And that's what it is. If you look closely, you can kind of see the spade and see that it's actually an opened up seal. And what it kind of meant was I was always a very shy person, and I'm still kind of, I call myself a hermit, just joking around a lot. But I am very to myself, and this open seal was kind of a time for me when I realized that I was starting to break out of that and starting to open up and want to talk to people. And just be, more social. So, and of course, in this line of work, working with lots of people and, presenting magic for you guys, I have to be a little more outgoing. So I had to learn how to do that. And yeah, so that's my favorite tattoo and what it means. Let's see, what's one experience in your life that has taught you a lot? Now, I could probably name a few, but just because this is about getting to know me and things that I've been through, this can get a little crazier, guys, but stick with me. This is pretty insane. I was actually stabbed in the neck while driving a taxi cab in New York, and I got extremely lucky. It went deep inside my neck, but it didn't hit any vitals, no jugular, no organs, nothing, just muscle, and I had a stiff neck for a week. But you know what? I really learned from that because maybe we all have our issues, maybe I procrastinate a little bit, and I still do. But, that moment, being okay, not, dead or, becoming a paraplegic, really taught me that, you have to continue, working hard at your passions, and you only have one life, and you got to make this stuff happen. So you can't just sit around and do nothing. You really got to make your dream work, you got to make it happen. So pretty crazy. I'm sure a lot of you guys never heard that story, and it's pretty insane. So let's see, what's my dream effect? That's a really tough question. If I did have a few I could name, I probably wouldn't, because I like to keep them pretty secret, and you guys end up finding about them soon enough anyway. So let's see, if you could not get paid to create magic, would you still? Yeah, probably. I mean, I mean, I could have landed a ton of jobs over the years that probably would have, detoured me away from magic, and I probably would still be creating magic just for fun and for myself. So yeah, it's such a passion. I definitely would. Um, what are 3 things you'd like people to know about being a magic creator? Well, one, let's see. First things first, it's not as easy as you think. A lot of people create magic and they think maybe it's original, and generally it's not. I mean, 9 out of the 10 things I come up with, I find out are someone else's, or it's in an old book, or whatever it may be. So definitely that one's not as easy as it looks. You need a lot of time to dedicate to it. It's very difficult for people that are working a full-time job. Even if it's a performer, you're a full-time performer, it's hard to find the time to dedicate to creating magic. So you need a lot of time. And I guess you really need to love it. I guess you really need to love it, because it can get very tiring and very discouraging when you find out that things are already created, and yeah. And there can be some drama in magic and stuff. So whatever it is, you need a lot of passion. You gotta have a lot of love for what you're doing. But yeah, let's see. And just to throw one more in there, like, learn as much as you physically possibly can. Learn as much magic. Be aware of the magic industry. Keep up to date with all the products that are on the market. So that way you're not wasting your time, and you really are building off something that you have the kind of the permission to build off of, but also you're really taking things to the next level. So what do you consider most when creating magic? That's a great question. Well, I know this isn't a big deal nowadays, because a lot of magic's just done on video. Though my magic is really visual, I always strive to make that magic workable, whatever that means to you. Whether you're a professional, you're working gigs, whether you want to just do it in front of a 7-Eleven for real people, and you're actually trying to fool someone, give them a moment of astonishment. You want it to work. Whatever that means for you, that's the kind of magic I create. I want it to be foolproof, and with enough practice, you're going to be able to perform it. So that's the most important thing to me personally. And what's great about that is that magic works great on video too. So let's see what's next here. Not asking, but I like your magic style. Okay, that's cool. I appreciate that. You don't have to ask a question, but that's cool that you stopped in to compliment me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich? Whew. Man, the tough questions tonight are insane, guys. That's like a riddle. I don't even know, because a hot dog, it's like, is a Philly cheesesteak a sandwich? Yeah, I'd say so. It's like a hoagie or a sub. So just because the protein that's in the sandwich is tubular shaped, and we call it a hot dog, is it not a sandwich? I don't know. It's kind of like maybe its own thing. So we don't have to argue, or you guys think I'm crazier than you probably already think I am. I'm gonna say it's not a sandwich, and that it's its own thing. But it's a sandwich. It's a sandwich. Okay. So moving on to the next question. I would love to showcase some of your magic. Okay, awesome, man. That's I'm not really sure it's not really a question, but I do think I know what you mean. All of my magic is up for grabs. I mean, you can learn this magic, you can purchase this magic directly from me. Once you learn it, it is yours. It is yours to perform as much as you want. Showcase it, TV, internet, whatever you want, perform it. And I always love seeing my magic performed, so it just means a lot. So let's see. We're getting closer to the end here. This is a good question. Why are you not at Abstract Effects anymore? So that was a company, if you guys wonder where I started this company with a couple of friends a couple of years ago. And the reason why I'm not with them anymore, I would say, without getting into too much, it's between just not really meshing well with those guys. We definitely didn't mesh very well. We didn't work very well together. And also, I really felt like my dream and my purpose on this planet is to create magic. And the best way to do that, to be successful with it, is to really work by yourself and to be solo. So those were the main reasons I had to take that jump and start Nicholas Lawrence Presents. And yeah, so that's the main reason for that. If you're not willing to change, you're not willing to grow, and You have to be aware of your surroundings and make the best decisions. Um, let's see. Last couple questions here. Why people, maybe I'll kind of reword your question here. Why do I think people should watch magic? Um, I might not be able to answer that exactly how you want because I'm trying to reword how you wrote this. Um, but I can say this. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've never asked somebody, hey, you want to see some magic? Unless there was cameras involved. But if it's just like, just you and you're meeting a stranger or meeting a new friend or meeting up with your current friends, people love magic. People absolutely love magic. And, whether you're getting paid or not getting paid, you should be out there performing magic. If you know magic, show somebody some magic. I mean, people love it. It usually creates a long-lasting memory. Just with my experiences and meeting up with people, and they say, wow, you showed me a trick a few years ago, and I tell all my friends about it, and it really resonates with people seeing something like magic. I mean, really, I think all art really leaves a lasting impression with people, but magic is something truly special, and I'm sure you guys can all agree because we're all practicing magic and trying to be the best magician we can be. So, awesome question. Favorite healthy beverage? Well, my favorite healthy beverage would be water. I drink a lot of water, and that's pretty much the healthiest beverage you can drink, I think. 0 calories, and it tastes great. I generally do put some lemon and cucumber in my water. Just make like a big batch, put it in my fridge, and keep it cool. And yeah, what a question to end on, guys. What's my favorite healthy beverage? Water with lemon. All right, so guys, that was a ton of fun. I tried to wrap through those as quickly as I could. I hope you enjoyed all the answers and you get to learn a little bit more about me. So yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to post this a few different places. You can check it out. You can comment if you want me to answer any more questions. You can put them in the comments. But yeah, guys, stay tuned, and I'll see what I can put together next for you guys because I definitely want to connect more and be a little bit more present. So I guess with all that said, guys, we'll see you next time.